Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. As a quick note, I'm a little under the weather. Jex is also a little under the weather, so either of us mute ourselves for coughing. Sorry. Hey, good news. It's on a Zoom call, so can't get any germs on you, friends. This is the last, sadly, because we had to cancel a session. This is the last session of Last Imperial Fleet. Last Imperial Fleet has been my 2-month game series with these fine folks in Sawyer who couldn't join us for the last session. Unfortunately, Last Fleet is this amazing game from Black Armada Games. I would say Black Armada they're one of my favorite PBTA developers, and I have really enjoyed this game. It's Last Fleet. I'm calling it Last Imperial Fleet. I'll talk about that in a second. Is a game that is Battlestar Galactica with the serial numbers filed off. It's all about pressure. It's about fleet level movements, and it's quite good. I've hacked it gently to Star Wars because, as is my want, this is Star Wars Saturdays, and that's where I run lots of Star Wars stuff. So the idea is that these are Imperials that during just after Palpatine died on the second Death Star, they fled Coruscant, heading galactic west. And this fleet consists of a Star Destroyer, a Gazanti class cruiser, which I remembered right off the bat without even looking it up. Something's wrong. It's a good wrong, though. And a number of other civilian ships, all frightful for their lives because of this bunch of terrorists and rebel scum coming after them. And during our series, the fleet has continued to move galactic west and ended up at a place at the edge of the known galaxy, a place known as the Kurnacht cluster, which is part of it's right on the edge of the galactic barrier, which was a cosmic bramble of hyperspace anomalies situated along the galaxy's western edge, preventing exploration of what's known as the unknown regions. Unknown because there are only a few worlds which can be reached with cautious hyperspace jumps, like Sicilla Ilum and Rakata Prime. Rakata Prime being where sorry, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to screw it up, but nevertheless, the Galactic West, unknown regions, that's where your fleet has entered the unknown regions at this point. Some other things that are going on, just as reminders, it's been a couple of weeks. The CO, or Admiral Elaine Price, has lifted up Lieutenant Commander Jaina Madar to Imperial Command. And Jaina is now the head of ISB. And that's a fun little bit. And Emile Shobus was the Imperial intelligence officer who was in closest competition with Jaina, and Jaina found some information that MLA had tried to murder Commander Obak Vandar II while he was imprisoned. And now she has a warrant has been placed for her arrest, but she has not been found. So she is currently on the lam. Is that the right phrase? Yeah, on the lam. So we also have Lieutenant Rev in the wind. There we go. I like that one. Lieutenant Rev busted down a rank to ensign because of insubordination and talking back to the CAG. She hasn't had her wings clipped and has been told, if you're good, maybe I'll let you fly a shuttle or something, is what the CAG has told her. Alternatively, Tagashia, who was merely a recruit, has been promoted to corporal for her heroic deeds. Heroic in the face of the Empire, so mileage may vary, and that's fun. So a lot of movement. Here we are on the precipice of the end of our series. What's going to happen? Who knows? So, reminder that we do have safety tools. We have lines and veils and ask first, which means that's content that could be cool, but check in with people before you introduce it. We also have the open door, which Fair took advantage of. I took advantage of last week. It's a good tool if you're not feeling it. We have the X card on top of that. And so we've got lots of safety tools, friends. It's important. Let's go around the horn because it has been a little bit and remind each other of our characters. I'm going to start from the right-hand side of the character keeper, heading towards the left, which means the Jex. If you can introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hi, I am Jex Thomas. I use they, them pronouns, and I am playing Lieutenant Commander Jaina Madar, who uses she or they pronouns. As Rich mentioned, she was recently promoted to the head of the ISB. I'm sure that's going to be a great thing because she is the Scorpio playbook, which is kind of like the sleeper agent, the Gaius Baltar of the group. She has apparently been involved in some bombings and some other bad things, like trying to or giving a weapon to some enemies. She doesn't remember any of this, but it's clear that now she at least knows she's been doing it. So I think this is going to be seeing what it looks like when Jaina is aware that she's working for the enemy.
Not
only vaguely aware, but
vaguely aware. She's been told by people that she asked for this.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
We shall. Thank you so very much, Jex. Next up, in the middle of our trio is Craig.
Hi everyone, I'm Craig. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Corporal Tagashiya, who uses she, her pronouns. Tagashiya is a Chiss. She's has several hollow prosthetic limbs. She's a real badass, but she is definitely playing both sides of this conflict. We learned last session that she's involved at least a little bit with whole Jaina's sleeper part, that she knows similar people. Gosh, what else? She is compromised. I want to highlight that because I am not currently dealing with it. So I do have a beginning of session move because she killed a Moth in order to secure passage on this as a deal with the Rhodian Imperial senator. Oh gosh, what else? The twisted style. Gosh, yeah. I think that's it. I think that's pretty good. And with I think at least at the beginning was kind of seeing eye to eye with Rev. Rev had taken her under her wing, and I think now it might have to go the other way. It's gonna be interesting.
Who's taking whose wing now? I love it. There's a lot of wing swapping. Who's the wingman? Sorry, I'll shut up. Steven, you're up.
Hi, my name is Steven. My pronouns are he, him, and today I'm playing Lada Kana, whose pronouns are she, her. She goes by the call sign Revenge, or Rev for short. She is now an ensign, as we talked about being knocked down from lieutenant, and she grew up on the moon of Endor, helped out the Imperials whenever they came to make a base there. You know, she grew up flying through the trees and all of that, and trained them on, you know, how to fly at fast speeds through the, you know, local fauna and all of that. She is a big loyalist because the terrorist rebels destroyed the Imperial base and thus her village that she grew up in and all of that on Endor. And so she's, you know, out to get all of the rebels possible, and anything that leads her in that direction is great, including the Empire. She's also a drug addict. She is stemmed to the eyeballs. She's a great pilot, but boy, she, you know, she gets that way by chemical means.
Awesome. So we begin in the middle of a pitched battle. Moments ago, a series of X-Wings and a Nebulon B-class frigate. That's the one that kind of looks like a big handhold with a ray gun. If you imagine a gigantic ray gun with a bunch of antennae on it, that's the Nebulon B-class frigate, as well as the X-Wings and some Y-Wings came out of hyperspace right beside where you guys were parked in orbit above the planet of Sicila, or Sicila. I'm not sure. I feel bad. It is the home planet of the Chiss, a cold ice-locked planet located in the Sicila system of the unknown regions. So the first question I have before we even jump into the action is, Tagashia, have you ever been to your home planet before?
No, I don't think Tagashia has. I think she was born away from the home world and probably born on Coruscant.
That sounds perfect. What is one legend or fable that she knows of about Sicila? Something she's maybe always wondered or feared about this planet?
Ooh, I think Sicila has really unpredictable, like it is very challenging to get to because it has this constantly in flux like asteroid belt thing that sort of travels in unpredictable patterns around the planet and really messes with the grav well of Sicila. So it's hard to get to here without having a huge hyperspace accident. It's hard to get out.
Nice. So hard to get out. Interesting. So the fleet had landed in orbit, and there was a fueling station in orbit around Scylla. I just looked it up on a YouTube pronunciation. So it's not Sicila, it's Scylla. It's CS is the way it's pronounced. No, it's written, but it is pronounced just Scylla. Anyway, so you guys were in orbit, geosynchronous orbit around Scylla over the capital city of Scylla, and that's when the rebel attack fleet came out of hyperspace, taking you guys by a bit of surprise. So Jaina Madar, you were in the officers like, dang it, what's it called? Like an officer's bar?
Lounge?
You would be lounge. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. You were in the officer's lounge, and there were people toasting your promotion, right? There were, well, of course, a few sycophants who are there to support your promotion, but this is the first time that we get to see some of the command staff, Lieutenant Commander Obok Vandar, as well as Commander Laz Bantu. And even the Admiral was there briefly, but she'd already made her exit. She's not one of those to really socialize with the staff too much. How was Jaina handling her this promotion or their acknowledgement from the rest of the command staff as they all bought you rounds of drinks, probably trying to get you super drunk to do something embarrassing?
Swimmingly. She's
Nice.
she's eating this up. She's wearing her Nova Star Medal of the Empire, and just very much kind of seems very at ease, sort of in her element here. Doing all the things that me as a human being is terrible at, like the small talk and wheeling and dealing kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's, we definitely get like some kind of like, sort of close up shot with her having a drink and like clearly like is just loving the hell out of this.
Nice. And maybe you've got, along with a Nova Star, like this ISB kind of golden emblem thing that shows that you are the head of the ISB. Mm-hmm. There's also this other reason that I talked to you, because there's this opening move you've got here.
No.
About sleeper
no,
agent at the start of each
doesn't
session?
exist.
I don't think you're dealing with the fallout of your last sleeper agent move. So
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So that's going to be plus sharp. Like most things, that's a flat 2d6. And that is a 6, friends.
oh
And I can't up this one. I do get XP.
Yeah, it's a
but I can't
cardinal.
up it.
So the good news is you get an XP. The bad news is you can't up it. On 6 or less, you don't get any choices. Oh my. Oh wow, there is actually an advanced option. I don't know if you added that to your advanced options, but you can actually erase the sleeper agent thing.
Regretting not doing that.
If only. If only. All right. Sweet. So then with the miss, that means that you set something up to damage the fleet. You do not discover warning signs before your actions have their full effect. You have left telltale evidence that someone else might discover, and there will be widespread consequences. And
That sounds about right.
I think that you're enjoying this camaraderie, fraught as it may be with the command, when your comm unit blinks a couple of times. A reminder, this is a flashback. This is before the attack has begun. And I in my head canon, a comm unit is used for audio only communication, but also has like a little pager type this text display. Does that work for you guys? It's kind of always how it is in my head, because I don't know. I like the idea of a pager, space pager. I don't know. But you receive a little communication. It is text only, and you see that it says attack sequence has commenced. Proceed to designated spot for extraction. And then that's when all hell breaks loose. Nebulon B class frigate and an entire squadron of X-Wings come out and immediately begin an attack run on the Star Destroyer. From that moment, of course, there's a couple of crashes because people are being thrown about, and we hear the people staggering around as the explosions happen. We hear a Wilhelm scream off in the background. Just try to get them all. All right, there we go. It knocked out a few early ones. And there, of course, is a bunch of frenetic activity as people are running to battle stations. And yeah, the Admiral wasn't here during this, so you don't get to see a great deal of her reaction, but she's probably making her way to the bridge. As ISB, you don't have any bridge duties, Jaina. So I'm curious, what's your intention? You've just got that little message there, and everything just kind of exploded around you in frenetic activity, worry, and military concern. So what do you do?
I very calmly finish my drink. The reason we know it's very calmly is because I don't just like throw it back. I like sip it, and then slowly and assuredly start walking out of the lounge, hoping that my muscle memory takes me to wherever I'm supposed to be going.
You're just going with where. Oh, that's delightful. I like that a lot. Sweet. Ensign Rev, where on the Star Destroyer do you imagine that you were when things exploded into action?
So I think I was near the bridge and relaying a message, like from the CAG, like, yes, they're on patrol. Yes, this is the, what we know about Celia.
I think it's just
Uh,
Scylla.
Scylla. And then she leaves. And I think that's whenever we see her kind of going down a hallway and we see the star expanse behind her. And we see the things kind of pop in. And she kind of turns and looks, and you see her take a step towards the hangar and then stop, like, oh yeah, I can't. And she turns around and she watches as the X-Wings fly close by, and like she pounds at that window, like, oh.
Oh man, and they're locking in attack coordinates and just coming in on their first attack run. You see that there's also a squad of Y-Wings that are coming out of the Nebulon B-class frigate, and they are starting to lay in the Gazanti class cruiser. You see it banking around. It's starting to deploy the TIE fighters. And you know a few of those people, like you can recognize, oh, that's absolutely that is for sure Romnan laying in it, and he's got Khandra wingman right behind him. And let's now jump over after Ensign Rev beating the glass of the Durasteel plexiglass, and Corporal Tagashia. When the sound of our Imperial klaxons are sounding out, Tagashia, what not maybe not inappropriate, but like not military thing were you engaged in at the time?
Oh, look at our NPCs real quick. I think yeah, Corporal Saul,
Saul Farina.
Yeah, the sort of underling of the quartermaster's group. I think we're like in a closet near Tagashia's thing, and there's credits being exchanged over a box, and there's something alive in the box. Just some creature. It's not just some creature. It's one of the Space Monkey, the Jabba's
Kowakian's a monkey lizard.
Kowakian monkey lizard. Yeah. And it's just making all these grumpy noises. And yeah, there's definitely something Corporal Tagashia is exchanging this for.
Wait. Who's buying it?
I think Saul Farina's buying it off of her.
Saul's buying it off of Tagashia. That's great. And we hear the little howl from the Kowakian monkey lizard in the box, and Saul like shakes the box. It's like, shut up. So these guys aren't poisonous, right?
Yeah, no, it's all good. You know, if it, I got it defanged.
Okay.
It's not the defanged.
And that's when things start to explode. The klaxon goes off, and you hear fellow Corporal Gloria calling out for you. Tag, where are you?
And I think she's like positioned in front of the office, and then the other door opens. Kark, and runs out, like some credits probably spill, and she's like hitting the I imagine, this is a little Star Trekky, but like one of the hallway armories. Like there's a button hits fly open. There's like the E11 blasters from the stormtroopers, and she grabs one, throws
as long as you
one
don't
to
jump into a Jeffries tube, I allow it.
Yes, yeah. Throws one to Gloria, and just a little bit out of character. What I would love is yet another explosion, something where we're trying to get to a boarding ship to like go board the Nebulon B, but our pilot gets shot or killed in some explosion. And
Oh, that is
we have to
oh
pull
exactly
Rev.
what happens. Yes, yes. No,
Okay.
no expenditures of research to make that happen. I love that. So your unit is headed to the hangar, and we see Ensign Rev is there to support, right? But of course, she's not going to get to fly anywhere. But as you guys are getting in the back of this little APC type shuttle, then yeah, we'll say that there's an explosion in the hangar, and the pilot who was running across to get into the shuttle is just blasted. Like they're gone. It's not dwell on it. It's like an Ewok, just blip on the radar, gone. And Ensign Rev, you see your chance. You were told you could maybe fly a shuttle or something. And
so it's like a TIE bomber that's been converted. So it's like way more sluggish than Rev is probably used to flying. But Tagashiya is on one of those gantries that has very little protective railing because it's the Empire, and is screaming, Rev! Rev!
And I think that, the wind is rushing by, and Rev, hears this whisper and starts making her way, actually, I think Rev is there close by, to the controls and everything. And she wasn't sucked out because she hit like a crate kind of thing. So she hits the controls there on the wall, and we see the little shield kind of, and the wind is deafening. We hear Tagashiya screaming, and Rev runs to yes, sir.
nice. So you climb into this TIE bomber, and it's one of those where there are half as many controls as in your advanced TIE, and you hear the metal groan a little bit as she starts to lift off. But
And Greg, you mentioned that this was converted. This is like a intended for insertion parties. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's got like docking clamps where the bomb tube is. So you're probably in like the one,
The other side,
the other pod, and then myself, Glory, and I assume 3 to 4 unnamed, soon to be dead NPCs are in the other side. I think we can definitely make eye contact, though. I think that's important.
and I think I probably. Oh, you're on mute.
Talking on mute. I love the idea. Tell me if this is too dumb, but like I love the idea. I just dropped a pic of the TIE. Well, one of the TIE bombers is the SA, but to screen share so we can talk about this real quick. This is where you guys are at, and I imagine you like strap in, and maybe this, I don't know, this might be too much, but like, could this be launched? Like there's a thing in here that could be kind of launched, or is it just you're gonna fly them in?
I love the idea that we get launched and are sort of abandoned. That seems
How
very
about-
Imperial.
The thing I was thinking was basically the TIE bomber has been modified, and the tube where the bomb used to be attaches. So that's where, I fly in and kind of touch down. It attaches, and you guys have to cut your way in, and I'll fly away.
Nice, make your own airlock kind of deal.
Yeah.
So you don't worry about going in their hangar. You just basically got to go in and drop it so that that's awesome. I love that. That is really, really cool. Sweet. So let's see, Ensign Rev, as you head out into space. There are there are TIEs in the air, in space. There are X-wings. I think at this point you need to tell me what your intent is and engage in some battle.
So I think the first thing is I'm gonna roll. Okay, so I think my intention is to head over and drop the team off, right, so that they can make it in. And the intention Tagashia, you're telling me we have to hit the nebula, right?
Yes.
The nebula frigate. So I think the intention there is to punch a hole through the defenses and get the boarding party there to the nebula frigate. So this would just be some fancy flying. I don't think squadron leader comes into play yet. This is where I would be able to toss out some help for people. But I think it would be a flying.
Okay.
So that could be engage in battle or shake off a threat.
It could be either one of those. We've done shake off a threat a bunch.
Okay.
So I'm a little interested in engaging battle. Now, due to pilot, you can when you pilot a fighter, capabilities of the individual craft, you can use it to engage in battle. Yeah, so I think it just gives you the ability to engage in battle while piloting a combat ready ship. You choose one less option on a 7 to 9. So that's good.
Yeah. And let me roll that. That's a 4. No, that's a 5.
It is not a cardinal move, so
yeah, let's up that stress. So I will do that and make
you're just gonna
that
push it to a 7.
Push it to a 7.
Okay.
Yeah. And
all right.
That makes it. Yeah. I choose 2. I choose 1.
But you choose one less because of pilot, so you choose
Yeah.
one.
So my
You
choices are.
Sorry, on a hit, you choose the good thing. On a 7 to 9, you choose 2 bad things, but you choose one less. So you've got 2 choices to make from the 2 lists.
Okay.
You see them?
So the good thing is my choices are overcome a tough target's defenses or destroy a number of weaker targets. You hold off a determined assault, or you keep the target safe during the battle. Okay. So I think I overcome a tough target's defenses. So I get inside the Nebula frigate's defenses. The bad thing is you take fire in the process and must weather serious harm. Someone or something gets damaged or destroyed, and your actions leave you or someone else exposed. I think exposed is the one that feels the best, right? I think that'll be the most fun for us.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So is it Rev? Like this is basically you're flying a brick. How is it that you manage to slip through not only the X-wings and Y-wings that are flying around your own ties who are scattered and a little wild, but also the turbo lasers of the Nebulon B-class frigate? What is it that you do? Like, what do we see of Ensign Rev's skill set as a pilot here?
Yeah, so I think what we see is it kind of launches from our bay, and we see it almost immediately starts taking fire. And we see Rev at the controls, like, trying to quickly maneuver it, and then we pop back out. We see the ship move just a little bit, side to side, and take some fire. And then we see where Rev basically sticks to the side of the other ships and kind of traces along, almost like it's a curvature, like you would enter the gravity well of a planet, just for cover. And this modified bomber kind of S-curves through the other ships so that the X-wings won't really take much notice of it. And I think that for the turbo lasers, I think that Rev positions the bomber so that the X-wing attack fleet is between the Nebulon B and the bomber coming in. And of course, the X-wings are kind of reforming and regrouping and then going out on another sortie. And I think we see on camera, we see these X-wings kind of regroup and they head out on another sortie. And behind, we kind of see the TIE bomber right behind there, continuing in towards the frigate, and kind of at the last minute drops, and we hear this loud clunk as it hits the frigate itself, and then we hear this as the clamps kind of clamp in,
Mhm.
and then Rev picks up, and I think that TIE bomber is a little bit lopsided and straightens and kind of swoops down a little bit faster than it was before around the bottom of the Nebula B.
Nice. Okay, so you come around the Nebula and B. I assume people know what, but you know what? It's so easy to just pull up a picture because it's the internet. So let me just throw a pic up real quick. So we're on the same page. Also, I like pictures, so sue me. Here we go. Yeah, it's in my jokingly like it's a giant blaster. So you're thinking that you brought the, because we don't have to worry about like up or down, right? It's space battles. So you're imagining you came down under one of these lower decks and attached. This is a hangar bay, by the way. So like, are you thinking that you brought the TIE bomber around here to clamp on?
I think so. I think I clamped onto this, these jutting out things in that area, probably where hangar bays and other equipment personnel kind of things are. And the TIE bomber, whenever it took off, just skirted the edge back towards where the engines are in the back, and
Mm-hmm.
it's headed back out around towards the engines. Togashiya, before you left, did you say anything about what you planned here?
Oh, you haven't left.
Okay.
We got to think, because remember, you chose the option of don't escape. No, wait,
Leave us exposed.
Leaves exposed. Yeah.
So I was thinking that perhaps this was where we could dock, but really where we're trying to get to is that engine cluster on the bottom. So now I have to like old boy style fight down this hallway of the Nebulon B to get to where we actually need to go. Or maybe now the mission has to change, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we've given my intent was to take out the engines. But I think maybe now we have to now we have to fight the bridge or something. And maybe they're like waiting for us, like beginning of New Hope style in the hallway.
Love it. Yeah. And I think there's a device that comes on, the green light flickers, and it's supposed to be the device that laser sears in, creates a seal so that you can airlock your way through. It basically kind of cores through, and the green light blinks for a second and then flashes red, and that is why you are exposed. The thing that was designed to core out your own little airlock has failed. Gloria grabs your hand, like the two of you are strapped in, right? And you're starting to unbuckle everything, and she grabs your hand and then quickly lets go and grabs one of those like little click Bunsen burner things to like pop up a little blowtorch steel. She's just going to try to like blowtorch her way out of here. What is Togashiya doing as everybody else is grabbing their blaster rifles and checking each other? And
so I'm gonna use thread the needle here, and I think what this is that's where I do something impossible.
Yes.
And this is where Togashiya is going to like overcharge this cutting mechanism with the power cells that drive her arm, which is not great because if it goes poorly, could really hurt her fighting capabilities. But yeah, I'm gonna try and we don't have time to sit here like a sitting Kawaki and monkey lizard.
Exactly.
And so yeah, she like twists something on her hand, and like that like little very stereotypical Star Wars probe thing comes out. She jams it into the little thing, and it starts spinning really quickly. Let's give it a shot. That's rolling plus raw.
Attempting a feat of skill that others have find impossible.
All right, here we go. That's the first high roll of the day. That's a 10.
You do it. and you can give yourself or another character +1 forward to capitalize on it.
Oh,
You can be selfish. It's all good. There are no PCs that are going in here.
so I can. Oh yeah, myself. Yeah. Okay. So I think this it works. And I think there's a bit more explosive force than there normally is to the boarding mechanism, and the whole core of the ship that we cut through flies out into the hallway and maybe takes out a couple of the rebels that are waiting there.
Nice. The little rebel helmets, go flying as these guys are crushed underneath it. Like this is one of those industrial air conditioners on top of a building type thing falling on them. Yeah, that's great. I love that. Now, Instant Rev, you're there keeping an eye on things. There was a delay. Maybe one of the guys screamed, it's broken, it's broken. Oh, stars. And you see that there is a single X-Wing that's coming down, and it's flying directly to there. I should do this direction, directly towards you. And it's already like you can make eye contact with this X-Wing fighter. You see that they're not human. And they have this like grin on their faces. They start lining up the shot. And they're like a couple laser shots that are bouncing off of the Nebulon B class frigate. So what is it that Ensign Rev is doing as you see this coming your way?
Yeah. I think so if I'm not mistaken, I think the Nebulon B used to be like an Imperial kind of frigate that's been modified for rebel use. So I know where the quarters are, and I make sure that I'm on, the side, like in the handle where all those quarters are. So if he fires on me, he will be shooting, and if he misses, he'll be shooting his own ship up, right? And not just like, where the engines are or something like that, but like where the people are resting, where they might be recuperating or something like that. And at the same time, I'm taking pot shots at him from the, not really outfitted. I'm used to like, really badass kind of guns. And these are like little defensive guns because a TIE bomber is meant for bombing, not for shooting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Go ahead and try to shake off this threat.
Okay. Shake off this threat is hard.
Yep.
Okay. That's a 5. And I don't have enough to up that.
I could give you the +1 from my move.
That's true.
Would that allow you to push it?
Yeah.
Because I would love to have this scene where like I imagine that there's like windows on the outside, right? So there's this scene of like the boarding thing goes off, it flies out, and it's just like this silent, like we make eye contact, but you're looking at me and I'm not making eye contact with you, and that's when you see the X-Wing, so you get maybe just that little bit of time.
Yeah, like this was my chance. I can't screw this up. Great. So that's what I'll do is I'm going to push it. That fills up my pressure track, puts me at a 7. I know what I'm going to do for my breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do shake it off, which is on a 7 to 9. The
GM
chooses.
chooses. Yep.
Yeah.
On a hit, you shaking it off. On the 7 to 9, the GM chooses out of the frying pan into the fire. Don't escape unscathed. Yeah, I think the deal is that the rinky-dink lasers, like the couple of them bounce off of the X-Wing's core, and then you pull off this like 1 in a million shot that hits the astromech. It like skims right over the cockpit and hits the astromech, and it spits a bunch of sparks, and we flash in to see the alien X-Wing pilot listening to their astromech scream, and then they veer off, but the wing clips your wing. Like it's one of those where he lost chicken, and you shear off his X-Wing, so he ends up going skitter, and he slams into the side of the Nebulon. But I would like for you to weather some serious harm.
Yeah. And whether serious harm is with
Hard.
hard. So I think it's the same.
Oh, interesting. You have to mark pressure regardless, and you can't mark pressure.
So how does that work? So I got a 7 on my weather
Okay.
serious harm.
7 to 9, it hits you hard. The GM chooses 2. I may pick the same one twice. So yeah, I think you're injured. Or you're injured for pilots only. Your fighter takes its damage to a specific system. Okay. Or you lose something important, or you must mark pressure. I can't tell you to mark pressure. So you will be injured. And then the second choice will be that your fighter takes damage to a specific system. And I think what's happening is you start hearing the klaxon as she's losing integrity. So you've got, of course, your awesome TIE fighter pilot helmet, but you can tell that this thing is already losing integrity, and you can see like a little like spider crack, and there's a little bit of that is coming through. And yeah, if these guys don't get out of here, out of that side, it could cause everything to just kind of crumble in.
I think now is what I'd like to do my breaking point, if that's okay.
Yes, what's that?
So this is put yourself or others in immediate danger through foolish, rash, stubborn, or negligent behavior. So what I had in mind is I think that I see that crack, and I like immediately kind of do this like slow motion U-turn and head back where I dropped off Tagashia. And we can see that, the TIE bomber is limping and kind of sputtering. I managed to go back and dock. I hop through to the, the little, we had that, one of those portals. I hop through to the landing area and I hit a couple of buttons, and we see the TIE bomber portion of it kind of float away. And, it kind of tumbles a little bit, and then we see the turbo lasers go after it. And I hop and, follow through the cut that's made, and there's smoke and everything, and there's fighting that's further away because I'm all by myself. They're all gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've headed out.
You've
that
boarded
okay?
the Nebulon B class for get all by yourself. That is a great breaking point. I adore that. That's fantastic. So let's cut away, because I want to jump back into Tagasia trying to fight her way towards the engines and probably having to sacrifice her squaddies. Oh,
I have one more thing, which is basically just, I think she lands and we immediately see her hit a stem and then look around for where to go. Yeah.
Nice. And of course, there's the carnage of dead rebels. And I love that. That's great. So we cut to Jaina Madar. You've allowed yourself to just work through muscle memory, going where it feels like the right place to go is. And you end up walking down that same hallway where Rev had looked out and saw the arrival of the X-Wings. And you see this like brilliant dogfight between a pair of TIE fighters and 3, basically an X-Wing and 2 X-Wings as wingmen for both. And they're just, it's brilliant. If you could just stop and watch it, it's like a ballet. It's like a beautiful dance with these green and red lasers, and you can't help, like, a part of you, a small Imperial part of you, feels the swell of pride for those 2 TIE advanced pilots taking on a greater foe. And you head down that hallway. You're nowhere near the hangar bay. You actually realize that you're not far from the cloning vats. You're on the other side of it. You haven't entered the secure area. And that's when you realize you're all alone. There's no one in this hallway. The klaxons are still sounding, but they're farther off. And someone steps out from one of the side passages, dressed in the armor of a stormtrooper, but you immediately see like they are too slight for it. It's ill-fitting. And they look at you for a moment. It's been a long time. You hear the voice is female, and they pull off the helmet, and it's a blonde woman, a human, Mina Davik, the rebel you were supposed to kill, the one that you and Tagashia let escape.
Mina, I
She steps
What's
up
next?
and she hugs you. And you just say, "What's next?" And she leans up and kisses your cheek.
I think it's that thing where like my arms are hanging awkwardly at my side, and then I kind of go up and do like a back pat.
And she right. The reconditioning. I understand. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. And she cups your cheek, and there's this affection that I don't know if you have the inklings of what's going on, but it seems super genuine from her. And she finally answers and says, get me to command. Take out Price.
Before that, I think this actually seems like the perfect time to roll my newest move, Alien Affinity. When you get close enough to the enemy that you could reach out and touch them, say what you feel: love, lust, fear, or revulsion.
Oh God, that's so good.
I think I feel revulsion. I mean, this reconditioning is strong. I think I feel like a hint of like this feels right, and then just kind of like I feel sick to my stomach a little bit. And it looks like I don't roll anything here. I just
choose to.
So you learn something new about the enemy, ask the GM a question, you're calmed and bolstered, erase pressure until you have exactly 2 boxes marked, erase one pressure, your choice. The enemy tells you something about yourself. I am aiming for breaking point soon, so I think it's the first and last option. So you learn something new about the enemy. I think if it's okay, what I would like this to be is I would like this to be a flood of like my memory coming back. Like maybe an understanding of the plan, or I mean, clearly I know that we're supposed to go assassinate Price, but yeah, I think this actually kind of fits in both of these sort of are aimed at the same thing. I think the enemy tells you something about yourself. So I don't know however you want to differentiate those two.
Sweet. So the first thing that unlocks for you, Jaina Madar, is, of course, that your name isn't Jaina Madar. That is the pseudonym that you were given. She's going to call you by a new name, but I didn't want to, like, there was a part of me I was like, I'm going to tell you what your name is, but we got a cool name list. You get to choose it. So that's the first thing it unlocks. The next thing that unlocks for you is that the reason, like, it's revealed to you, you remember that reconditioning was strong even when you last saw her, when you last saw Mina, but she used a code phrase on you, RDs, and when she did that, that's why you decided to free her, why you pulled Tagashia into this conspiracy that the two of you participated in to help her to escape. You felt this compulsion, and yeah, and you know that phrase is still powerful in your mind, and then I'll put it in chat. That yes, you volunteered for this as a rebel spy to infiltrate this particular fleet, and also that the enemy tells you something about yourself, that you wanted this, you volunteered this for this, you wanted to make sure that any clones of the Emperor would not be allowed to escape. So she steps back, and Katerina, congratulations on your promotion. It's exactly what we need.
I'm a little worried it's not going to be as of as much use as I would have hoped. Did you place the charges in the cloning facility?
I haven't gained access. That's what I need you for.
Price first?
Price first, and in the ensuing chaos, take care of the primary mission. Unless you think we should swap the order.
I mean, we're right here.
All right. God, you look good. Let's get inside. So, how do you wish to get inside the cloning vats, which are, of course, extremely high security, and you're not a rekindler, so.
So there's no one here.
You can hunt around and find people, but where you're at
Mhm.
right now, she chose a place.
Mhm.
Excuse me, that's private.
Mhm. I tell her to put her helmet back on, and so even being head of the ISB, I do not have access to this place.
Yeah, you can pull strings.
Yeah, I think I need to pull strings. Who would I be going to for help?
Mhm.
Any ideas? I mean, I know who I would be going to if Ferret were here.
True. Well, I mean, the cult quartermasters always seem to have access to things they shouldn't. Let's see, other rekindlers. You could go see Obak, but of course that's never an uncomplicated thing.
Oh shit, though. Like, so
Yeah.
So he's in, like, he's in custody right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that makes sense to me then.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, like, where is he being kept? Because he's like being kept in a room now rather than the brig, right? After the
He's being kept in Marwin's quarters.
Oh shit. Okay. Come with me and try to stand a little taller. I head towards Marwin's quarters.
Wait, is that a short joke?
Yes, it's a short joke.
Straightens up a little bit and marches after you, and she falls into a pretty good marching rhythm. Like it could pass. So you're gonna make your way to Marwin Ganson's quarters. That is lovely. Sweet. We're gonna cut away from you and look at the time and just kind of do it a quick health check. I think we're gonna call bio just a little bit early now. So we pick up with at the sound of an explosion in one of the Nebulon B-class frigate hallways. As Gashia, you lose one of our as yet unnamed, but this person will be at conventions for many years to come, signing autographs because they had their own special scream. And Gloria is right beside you as she kind of slams against part of the wall, because if you remember those like weird ribs in the wall where people can hide and fire out. And she says, "We've got to cut across. We cannot fight our way through this damn hallway."
Yeah. Tagashia is like is keeping kind of looking at the situation and realizes that this is not a winning battle. Like this is a quickly dissolving situation.
Mm-hmm.
Glory, we don't need to cut across. We need to fall back.
To where?
Back to the tie.
Tracking rev's gone. There's nothing to cut back to. We go forward or we go around. Jake, we got to do this.
Oh, yeah. Tagashia will look around, and I think she just nopes out. Because that she's done it before. And I think Tagashia is aware Sorn is on this Nebulon B.
Wow. Okay.
I think this it's either it is Sorn's frigate or Tagashia knows that he served on this.
Nice. Okay, I'm into it.
So I think I'm angling for a seek out, and I'm just abandoning Glory and the what remains of the boarding party to their fate. Yeah. Is there a move for just nope out?
I mean, covering
Not really.
up, possibly. It could be that you're covering up, like, I'm in on this. You go ahead, I've got your back, and then you pull a fade because you fooled them.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, just to reframe that a little bit. You're right. There's nowhere to fall back to. Okay. You take the team, move on the corridor. I'll cause a distraction over here. And I'm just leaving.
Roll smooth. Let's see if she buys it.
Oh, I think I'm terrible at smooth, right? 0. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm terrible at this.
Yes.
The playbook about covering up, and I specifically took 0. Oh, that's a 5.
Oh,
I can push it though. I can push it.
You could.
Yeah, and that fills my pressure track. So that's the obvious choice.
That's totally a Gregism right there.
Yeah. So I push it, which means on a 7 to 9, you get to choose, Rich.
Oh yeah, let's see. On a 7 to 9, the GM chooses. They're only fooled temporarily. Must give concrete assurance, provide some extra corroboration. Someone realizes you're up to something, and it won't be the last you hear of this. Oh, I totally think it has to be the last. It has to be the last bit. Gloria looks at you, and there's no time for her to ask for corroborating evidence. And you get the sense that she knows you're not with her on this. And she grabs the 4 not yet dead squad members, and they charge across the hallway, try to dive through a garbage chute that one of them pointed out. What a terrible idea. And then the rebels are concentrating fire on that, and it's bought you some time. You can totally abandon them and get out of here right this minute. What do you do?
think there's that moment of hesitation, and then there's there's like this movement in a hallway. She's just about to, second guess herself, and then like the like a rebel spec force trooper or something comes around and just lays into the hallway with a heavy repeater, and it's like, no, there's no way. This is well and truly doomed. And she like makes her way, starts cutting back through the route that they've come, and it pulls up like there's a computer kind of thing, and it is trying to find Sorn very rapidly, trying to figure out, where is he on the ship? I know he's on the ship.
Ooh, seek out.
Okay, and that is plus sharp.
It is plus sharp, which
I'm also so good at -1.
Yep.
Okay.
I love that you had an
Checking.
opportunity to engage a battle, which uses your
Yeah.
one good stat
No,
with soldier
No.
move, and noped out of that.
that is also a 5. Oh no. There is no
Yeah, there is
6
no
minus.
fail's a fail. It's just the GM does a thing.
Let me see if any of my breaking points would really work. I mean,
God, I know exactly what I'm going with.
okay. I want to hear your hard move, and then I'll figure out my breaking point from there.
Here is an explosion that was after that 51 repeating, going off, and you hear Glory's piteous cry for you. She needs your help. She is dying. She's not going to surrender. You know that. What do you do?
And this is like coming over the
It's coming over your
console that
comm, because you moved a couple hallways away. You hear it. She's Tag, they got us pinned down. I've lost everybody. I know you. I know you're bailing on me, but I need you. Please.
this might be calling Glory on her shit, but I'm not sure that works very well with NPCs. I told you, Glory. I told you it was a losing battle.
Gotta do our duty.
Damn your duty. Well, sorry. Cark your duty.
Oh, damn, it's totally acceptable and very appropriate. Yeah, so I don't think you're calling her out her shit, because unless you're trying to tell her she needs to surrender. If you're just gonna bless her out, then
I don't think there's any convincing her to surrender. I told you,
All right.
Glory. I told you it was a losing battle.
And then you hear an explosion, and there's no more transmission. We cut to Ensign Rev, and you stemmed up and chased after them. When you came to the last piece of a pitched battle, you see that there are several rebel spec ops who have pinned down, and they are just wheeling off. And one of them is about to throw a thermal, basically a detonator, a thermal detonator, a grenade down the hallway to finish them off. Rev, they haven't spotted down to like a separate corridor from where they've got the last of the rebel team pinned. What do you do?
I want to shoot that thermal detonator,
Oh, that's
like as he's throwing it.
that's
Yeah.
perfect. I love that. Sweet. I think that is shaking off a threat.
Okay. Do you see a roll for me?
From you, I
Yeah.
see a 0. It just says 0.
I see
It
a
looks like you didn't add.
zero.
Yeah, he didn't add dice.
Okay, let me erase the dice and add that back in, because that's what I see. I see +0, and I'm like, oh, that's weird.
That is weird.
I see it again. Okay,
Would you like me to try rolling for you?
let me hit the 2d6 button. There we go.
There we
Okay.
go.
I hit the 2d6 button and it worked. So that's
Weird.
7.
And then what's your hard?
0, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah. Good call. Sweet. On shake off threat. The GM chooses a thing out of the frying pan into the fire. Don't escape unscathed. You lose or use up something in the process. Oh, I didn't define what your injury was. We should define that injury.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe like a shard of the metal, like was shot off during that explosion, right?
Mhm.
And it pierced your right shoulder. So you've got like
Yeah.
this piece of metal kind of stuck in it, or unless you kind of pulled it out and backed
I
it.
think I probably pulled it out, but we see the trail of blood, dripping, and that arm is a little bit useless, and she's kind of favoring it. And we see that
Nice.
trail of blood, and she's kind of holding it as she comes down and looks around the corner, and then, braces her arm up against the corner to take this shot.
Nice. And you hit it, and the guy, like, you threw it off at perfect time. That grenade drops down, and one of the rebels screams, "Grenade!" And he jumps down and covers it. And boom, he takes it for his buddies, right? And that's when the threat intensifies. Is the guy who got shot in the arm, he points you out, and they start just laying fire on you at this point. You're pinned, and you don't know how many of those how many of your Imperials, I kept saying rebels earlier, I apologize. Yeah, how many of your Imperial squad that you were trying to back up are left in Rev? What do you do now that you've kind of have to hunker down on the side of one of the corridors?
Yeah, so I actually get on the horn and try to call to the rest of the Imperials and say, "Hey, I've got the rebels. They're after me. Looking for orders. Should I distract them in a direction? Do you want me to get you to a ship? Our ship's gone."
And the only person who hears that is Corporal Tagashiha.
There's the mute button. Rev, where's
Yeah.
the ship?
The ship took some flack, and so I had to abandon it. It barely lasted long enough for me to get back here. And I think I'm running down a corridor. So you hear me breathing heavily and kind of grunting a little bit. And
Tagashi is like quickly pulling up on the, where are you?
yeah, I'll meet
nice.
up. Yeah, and I think I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm running past this junction. I'll meet up with you and the rest of the troops. Which way should I go?
There's no rest of the troops. They're all dead, Rev.
What are you doing to complete the mission? What are you going to do to destroy these guys? I'll help however I can.
Laser brain pilot. There's no more mission. They're all dead. Oh boy. Is this a breaking point? Yeah. I was aiming for a different breaking point, but I think this is it. Meltdown publicly.
Nice.
Which does get me an XP. How about that? This is, this I assume once again is a broadcasted sort of Imperial frequency, right?
Of course.
Cark the mission, Rev. We're gonna die here. Does this sound like the when Tagashia also previously like noped out on a mission on Rev? Because that's part of our history.
Does.
And I think Rev is like, oh. So Rev says, great. Sir, where are you? And I'll meet up with you and follow your orders, sir.
And Tagashia, like, I don't know, there's like a ping or something. She sends out a signal on the computer.
And I think Rev's gonna head that direction. So, and I'm gonna keep on the line with you, and basically keep trying to, use soldier terms to push you into taking orders or something like that.
I think you're
Not
calling him on her shit. I mean,
Yeah, that's perfect.
first is trying
I'll do
to
that.
nope out, and you're like, no, we got a mission. We're doing the mission.
The results look good for that. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so I'm gonna roll 2d6 plus hard. Oh,
It's a 9. What's your hard?
hard is 0. I could
Okay.
take a pressure to make that a 10, which I think we should.
Nice. And since you just breaking pointed,
Yeah. On a hit, they choose from the option below.
Oh, on a 10 plus, they're limited to the first. Oh,
but you get to mark XP when you actually fall in line. Yay!
oh, yeah. No, Rev, I'm coming to you, and then just radio silence. Like
Great.
it, like the worst thing. Like we're on the Imperial ship. That's me openly refusing to do what you asked.
So
Marking
such a
pressure.
passive aggressive, terrible person. I love it.
Rev,
And I think-
no, I'm coming to you. And then just radio silence. So now you don't know where Tagashia is.
So Rev, I think, screams into the mic, right? Takashia, Corporal, I need you. And then I think kind of bucks up a little bit, stops, takes a couple of breaths, and then does that whole, punching yourself in the stomach kind of thing. Kind of. I'm gonna roll squadron leader. I'm gonna take control here if I can from the corporal, and we'll see what this does. I think squadron leader either gives you a hard move or gives me the ability to give someone orders and give them a +1. So let's see what that looks like. So that's an 8.
You're such a diehard. It's great.
And I'm gonna
Hold one.
spend. I'm gonna spend 2 pressure.
Whoa.
Make that a 10, so I hold 3 so I can actually help out. Rather than help out once, I'll help out 3 times. So I get a +1 forward to give to other people.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Let's cut away from here. You hear those orders still coming through, Corporal Tagashia. So we had, when we ended the Jaina Madar scene, or to some people might have been Katarina Janda. Did you stick? Oh yeah, I'm gonna stick that in, like, because I'll forget it. So I'm gonna stick that as a note. As well as Mina, who seems to be a person who maybe is an ex. I don't know. But we're gonna head to. That's right. You went to Marwin's quarters because that is where Commander Obok Vandar II is, and you ISB, so you could walk right in, and you see that Obok Vandar II is seated and is getting updates. Like he's watching a little series of hollows about what's going on. You don't see Marwyn in here at all. And Obok's in civvies, civilian clothes, just like shirt. The slacks aren't even the beige or olive green of the Imperial Order. And he looks up, Commander Madar. He doesn't even recognize that you've got a stormtrooper with you. It's just a stormtrooper.
Vandar, as I'm sure you've surmised, we are under attack. We have credible intelligence that there is a sleeper agent on board who is set charges in the cloning vats. I need to get in there, and you're the only one that can give me access.
Pull some strings. Roll plus smooth, which for you is a 1.
That's an 8. Okay, yeah, I like that. I get an additional option though as well.
Nice.
Being manipulator. So we each get to choose 2, Rich. Gain help with a specific task from an NPC or group and hold 1 towards choosing an option from the support or interfere move list or taking action at scale. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you gain temporary access to rare or restricted equipment, resources, skills, or information.
Sounds good. He stands up. All right. There is a retinal scan, so you will have to bring me with you as I choose the option. Someone demands a favor in return, or else they won't help.
Okay, I think you get to choose 1 more too.
I do.
Yeah. Fine, and I, kind of nod towards Mina, and I expect she goes and grabs him.
Yeah, she moves forward, grabs him by the arm, and then you guys all head out, and the camera pans on Marwyn's room, and you see there's a little comm link that's flashing red, as it were broadcasting, and you have attracted unwanted attention.
Oh, great.
So we do a quick star wipe to him opening up the area to the rekindlers, and you step inside. This is not the first time that Jaina Madar has been in the cloning area, the cloning vats. We come in, we see all those weird cylinders with the half-formed things, and of course we're using imagery from anyone that's seen Mandalorian to like failed clones, quasi-clones, that the internet is ablaze with rumors that that's Palpatine clones. And yeah, maybe we even see one that looks a little bit like Snoke, right? A little bit like Snoke. And yeah, there's this, and I'm checking in. It's been a couple weeks, and I just want to make sure. Did not Marwyn start a clone of someone? And
I think
Yes,
so.
yes. Marwyn started a clone of I was there.
right.
It was.
Yeah, I feel so dumb because I can't remember it.
Was it Glory?
That feels
Yes.
right.
It was.
feels
It
right.
was
Yep, it was
Glory.
Glory.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And we see the nearly finished clone of Glory. Of course, we've shoot it like, we don't see naughty bits or anything because we're Star Warsing it. But yeah, you recognize her, Jaina Madar, as Corporal Gloria Gillis. She's got the little mouth, the thing on where she's. Because I've totally borrowed. Oh no, I'll totally just bite the whole back the tank with Luke thing, right? Like she's got the a binder on, a bralette, and underoos, and then she's got the whole thing, but she doesn't seem to be conscious. The little breathing mask.
Is there anybody else in here?
It's a good question. So the ship's under attack. So do you imagine, and I'm kind of posing this theory, do we imagine that the security is keep everyone out, or the security would be automated defenses, or the security would be, there's a bunch of stormtroopers in here?
I just don't think there's enough people to go around, because Tagashia has snuck into the cloning vats during a rebel attack in the past.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Thank you.
I saw it as an opening. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, there doesn't appear to be anybody else around. And we have Vandar looking around, and he comes up and he puts his hand on the cloning tank with Gloria, and he says, "This such a waste. I'd started a clone of Moff Ganson. Marwan destroyed her."
Cool. Good for you. Tie him up. Shut him up too.
Oh, and yeah, Mina just goes, and we see the concentric circles of she just stunned him, and he falls to the ground.
You have the charges?
She nods and removes her helmet because movies. So she removes her helmet. Oh God, these things smell.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. We need to make sure that nothing here survives. Let's plant charges there, and there, and this last one's pointing directly at Glory. And
she goes around, she like hits and does the little beep, and you hear the beep, and she's setting the charges, and then you hear, "Jane, what the hell are you doing?" And you see with a blaster is none other than Commandant Oakma.
I would tell you it's not what it looks like, but what's the point? This is exactly what it looks like.
And she turns and fires and shoots Mina. What do you do?
Shit. I wish I were at my breaking point. I think this is I immediately pull out my blaster and shoot back.
Oh my, that sounds amusing and interesting and not at all scary. I think you're shaking off a threat then.
Okay. It's hard, my -1. No, rise. Okay. Okay. That is a 10.
What? No, the dice are determined you'll be successful at this thing. That's delightful. Okay. On a hit, you shaking it off.
And I get +1 forward.
You get to tell me. It's 10 plus. Did you just hit her? Did you wing her? Did you kill her? Dead? Cold blood?
I really wanted to save my killing somebody dead for when I hit my last breaking point, or what might be my last breaking point. But yeah, I think that's the only thing that's what really sells that Jaina's bought in, right? This person that she was in a relationship. I shoot her, I kill her.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, she never aimed the blaster at you. Like she shot that girl. By the way, shot her right in the chest. Stormtrooper armor did not seem to have an effect whatsoever. What is it for? And then you shoot her, and I think you hit her like right here near the neck, right? And she falls to the ground, and blood's just pouring out of the wound, and she's staring up, and finally turns her head just painfully to look at you, and she's trying to form words.
Yeah, I think what we get here is the camera kind of pulls out, and almost like in silhouette, shoot her in the head.
Damn. Sweet. You shoot her in the head. She gets no last words, and that is got to be when we cut away. For Instant Rev, you've got orders you can give, up to three orders. What's the first order that Tagashia may ignore?
So I think I'm looking, trying to catch up with Tagashia.
And
I
just
figure
like I imagine that occasionally rebels are like popping out, firing at you. You're shooting back. You're still leaving a trail of blood. You're a super badass action hero, but that's a thing that like is in my head canon.
And I think I'm headed roughly towards where the hangar would be, because that's our way out, right? We can leave and attack from another place. I don't know exactly what Tagashia's mission was, other than to take out the engines. But we can take out the engines from outside, right? I can fly this thing, and it'll be great. Yeah. So it also makes it a little bit easier if we only have 2 people versus 8, because I don't have to take a shuttle.
All part of
right?
the plan.
Yeah. So I'm gonna basically be headed in the direction. For a moment I saw a blip of where Tagashia was, and I'm gonna kind of split the difference between there and where the hangar bay would be, and I'm just headed that direction.
Nice.
And I think I stay on the horn, and I'm like, soldier, answer me, but no answer, right? Yeah.
I think you're trying
And
to
I think
seek out,
there's-
right? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No. I think if Rev's doing a role to seek out, I think that makes total sense.
Did you have something else, Greg?
Oh, I imagine that Tagashia is not communicating because she's like entrenched in a battle of herself that I'm interested in rolling for just to see what the outcome is. And there is no pressure. It's a little self-serving, but yeah.
Do you want to roll that as well?
Sure. Bridge,
Okay.
who do you want to roll first, the seek out or the battle?
Let's go battle. Let's see how the battle's going.
And that's plus raw. So I'm actually really good at that. Plus,
Yes, you are. You were bored for this.
That is an 8. I choose one less option on a 7 to 9, and I can push it twice to make it a 10, and then I'm at a breaking point.
Sounds like you should do that.
Yeah,
of course.
I should do that. Okay.
You have burned through so many breaking points. It's insane.
Yeah. Wheels are off the carriage now. So engage in battle on a hit. So I overcome a number of weaker targets. And this is like this is where like the camera's doing the really slow pan backwards. Definitely setting up something towards the end of the episode here. And Tagashia is just in the fullest form of her Imperial assassin self. She's popping out of doorways, knife in the neck, throws the person into another person, grabs the blaster, shoots somebody else, pulls a blaster off the person, spins around. That person takes the bullet, throws them again, shoots another person. She is in her fullest animal self, killing a whole bunch of these things. And then that one of those Spec Force troopers in like this heavy armor comes around and starts laying in, and she runs up the side of one of the hallways, throws a knife right into his neck, and there's just this spurt of blood that we don't normally see in a Star Wars film because they're using lightsabers, but there's just blood on the floor, and she just crawls over him and is making her way somewhere towards a hangar as well. And that's when Rev can try and find her.
Nice. Oh, that's dramatic. I love it. Let's see how this seek out goes.
I also have another move that I'd like to roll
at
some point.
Yeah, no, what is it? What is it?
I have turn a blind eye when you let someone off the
I lost you there, Stephen.
Roll this seek out.
Back in. Okay.
That's a 9. What does seek out do?
On a hit, you find it. It's column C, basic moves. I just
Yeah.
highlighted it, so hopefully you can see it.
Yeah.
So on a hit, you find it on a 7 to 9. The GM chooses one. You attract unwanted attention. You discover something unexpected and horrifying. You found it, but something stands between you and it. Your investigation takes a long time. A long time is
I'm
boring.
going to-
and I'll choose it.
I'm going to push that with pressure
I
and
don't
make it a
even have to.
10.
Great.
Yeah. Just so you don't have to, so it just happens, right?
Yeah, it just happens. You
So I
find
think what
Tagashi
happens, I think what happens in this case is, I round a corner and Tagashia is like ready to take me out, right? Because, and that's whenever we stop. And I'll roll my turn a blind eye and see how that turns out. That is plus warm, which I think
Mhm.
is still a 0.
Your warm is 0. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a 5. So Rich, you just have that little thing you can use at some point. Yeah. And I'm like, Tagashia, it's okay. Oh,
She has a vibro dagger to your throat. Like, this is just.
we'll get out of here. Let's go. I'm not the one you want to kill.
Are you sure about that?
100%. And I think I reach up and I have like our little comm unit and I hit the erase button that records the history of everything that just happened.
Rev, there's no place for me in the Empire.
I don't care where you are as long as you're killing rebels.
There's no place for me anywhere, Rev. And I'm reaching out, seeing hearing a significant hope or fear. Actually, no, I can't reach out. I can't reach out because I'm at my breaking point. Oh, rules. Okay, so
Rev could call you on your shit though.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, I think I have to pick one of my last 2 breaking points for this. Either no. Oh, so Steven, Tagashia is going to. Okay, Rev, I've been working for the rebels this whole time.
Oh wait, if you're picking reveal you're a traitor, that's you become an NPC, right?
Right. So I'm interested in either. Rev has the choice to either let Tagashia go.
Okay.
At this moment, and I pick the first one, or Rev has the choice to kill Tagashia, and I pick the second one.
I don't even need
if
a
you're
heart
okay
move.
with that as a choice, I think it's interesting. If you want to negotiate it further, I'm fine with that.
No, I think that's all great.
Okay.
I'm not sure I completely understand. So let's see where this goes. You go ahead and play it out.
Well, I think so. Just so you understand it, Stephen, because I think the choice you make is pretty important. There are 2 potential breaking points that Greg could be angling towards. One of them is not the I become an NPC. One is like abandoning your duties, right?
Exit the game, whether through death, breakdown, or some other route. Your character leaves the game. I'm thinking that would be Rev killing.
Oh, it's one or the okay.
Because
so I see 4 options for your breaking points.
Yeah, I'm only looking at the bottom 2.
Okay,
the other ones, 2. I'm not.
Okay, I misunderstood. I'm glad you clarified, Greg.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm only interested in the bottom 2.
This is it. This is Tagashia's last scene.
Yeah.
The choice is
you're either an NPC or you exit through death or something like that.
Yeah, either Rev, has. I think it's a cool part for Rev too. Like either Rev, finally sees some mercy to have on a rebel, or Rev kills her, because she's a rebel. The whole cat's out of the bag at this point too. Like Jaina's real name is Katarina. She's a rebel spy too. She's blowing up the cloning vats. Rev, the Empire is dead.
I think Rev is going to go like a little bit crazy, right? And I think I'm gonna lash out at you. Is that let's not shake off a threat, engage in battle, or let
Here's the deal.
loose?
Here's the deal. Like, you can. I mean, we don't need to like go
Yeah.
move to move. Like, breaking point has been hit. What
Just
do
narrate it.
you? Yeah, narrate it.
Yeah.
Is this a thing where you're gonna lash out and through death? That's what happens to Tagashiya. Like, you're cool with
Yeah.
that, Greg. Like, that's the offer on the table.
Yeah,
an
yeah,
interpreter-
no, absolutely. Rev can kill Tagashiya at this moment for being a rebel, which is
So I
great.
think Rev is going to lash out. And I think Rev smashes the control that you have for your HoloLimbs. So they kind of dissolve. And that means that you're not really as much of a threat anymore. You're like on the ground. And Rev runs off, right? So she just reaches up. I don't know exactly how this would look because I don't think she has a knife. Oh, she has that communicator in her hand. When you say I'm a rebel, she smashes that into the controls and it kind of everything shorts out. And then it's like, I think she kicks you and runs towards the hangar.
Oh, so you're leaving me. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I guess the
Yes.
the
I'm a
breaking
sleeper
point
agent.
is you're a sleeper agent. You revealed yourself, and now you become.
And just like the last moment as like those doors are closing, is just like, Rev, you're better than this. It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, and I think it's a thing where it's all a lie. It's all a lie. The camera remains on Tagashiya after you scream, and there's a moment where you're just kind of catching your breath. You have, well, just double checking the picture. You've lost your right arm and your left leg. And then we see someone walk and stand over you. And of course, it's got to be Soren. Shakes his head. I just hope they completed their mission. We cut away to Jaina Madar, aka Katarina. So you set all of those charges. You've watched a woman who maybe loved you get shot by a woman who definitely declared that she loves you, who you then shot. You set all of those charges, and you've got the detonator. You had to pull it off of Mina's dead body.
Okay, so Mina's, because the first thing I do is I check on Mina,
Yeah,
and she's dead. She's toast.
yeah, she's done. She's done. Sorry if I robbed any coolness of that. I apologize.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I take the detonator, and I am going to, I guess I'm gonna go to find Admiral Price.
Nice. So you've got the detonator in your hand, and you
Mhm.
leave the vats because you've got that set up, and now you're going to go find out.
I mean, I suspect once I'm far enough away from it that it wouldn't hurt me. I'd probably blow it. Would I? I mean,
you set charges there before. You just reset the same charges you had before.
I was going to ask, like, based on the location, is there any worry about me, accidentally, venting us into space or anything like that?
Unless you want that to be a risk on the table, I don't imagine that it is. It's a pretty well shielded and protected thing. It's one of those, like, the shielding is going to make it worse for the vats because it's all going to bounce around in there.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we get the kind of cool action hero sort of thing of walking and then an explosion going off in the background, except we undercut that by, like, we don't actually see like big balls of fire or anything. It's just like and like maybe one of the doors kind of like falls off or something. And yeah, I'm gonna head towards Price.
Nice. So door opens up. You come out of the turbo lift and you see this frenetic activity as the Star Destroyer is in a pitched battle. You see that there are a couple of the screens have exploded, and you see Commander Price, your admiral, the CO, and you see that weird glass bowl head all in red droid that is floating near her. And she notices your arrival. You head the ISB. She doesn't seem to suspect anything at this point. Report, Lieutenant Commander.
Admiral, Okma was a rebel spy. She planted charges in the cloning vats. I wasn't able to stop her before they went off, but I killed her.
I think you're trying to cover up right here.
Yeah,
and
I think
now.
so too.
Let's see
Yeah,
how
yeah,
this goes. Roll plus.
Can-
smooth. You got
So
a
I
one
don't
in
know.
smooth.
I want to just know if I can possibly use close ranks here, because I think it's. I guess that still doesn't make sense. I don't think I've gotten to use this move once.
Well, no, let's make space for it. Let's
Yeah.
do it. So your
Um,
your quirk was the romantic affair, right?
with Okma, right?
Right.
Um,
And you're
so I
using
have a-
Okma as the thing. So I think that's good. You can cover up with +1 forward. So absolutely, because you
Okay.
just threw Okma under the bus.
Okay.
I think that absolutely works with your quirk and
Okay.
close ranks.
and
or-
do my +1s forward stack here.
Yeah.
So I have one from okay.
I don't even know if that's like a rules wise thing, but I think if we
Sure,
get him so
yeah.
little, let's let him stack.
All right, so it's +1
gonna
for
roll snake
smooth
eyes.
and
Still gonna roll snake
+2
eyes.
forwards. That's a
Ah!
12.
12. Holy crap. Wow. That is unexpected and delightful. On a 10 plus, they buy your deception as long as no clear countervailing evidence appears. Only in a Black Armada game would a basic move have the word countervailing. I love it. And Admiral Price says, disappointing. Yeah. Well, I'm sure the rekindlers, those who survive, will be more than disappointed with your failure.
Yes, ma'am.
We still need to go to Exegol. We're going to have to leave the rest of the fleet.
I think at that word failure too, like since then Jane is just like seething, like pretty openly. Like I think that not trying to hide it at all.
Nice. And Price, like that's just a matter of course for her. And she turns and she says, leave orbit, plot in a course for Exegol. And it starts backing up like the Star Destroyer at this point. Put out a call to all TIE fighters who can join us. We are leaving. And then we'll cut to Ensign Rev. You come into the hangar and you see that there are a few X-Wings here. They have more. They're well funded by the Alderani nobility. They have more ships than they have people. It's crazy.
So I'm gonna look for a fully loaded like Y-wing, and
Nice.
jump in that.
Got it.
And so I think it feels appropriate story-wise. I'm gonna narrate this, and then let me know if I need to make any rolls or stop me.
Okay.
Rev hops in, flies out, fits in with the rest of the fleet, right, as the attack is going. Looks like any other bomber. Flies around to the back of the flies around to the back of the Nebula and B frigate, and then sets the Y-wing to ram the engines, and she's going to eject into like the in the little front cockpit thing of that Y-wing. Boom goes the engines to the Nebula frigate, and she doesn't have a communicator anymore. So I think as she's kind of floating there, the Imperial ships all go into hyperspace, and she's just kind of floating there in space with the remains of the Rebel fleet that were there. How's that?
God, that's so
Are there any
good.
rolls you'd like, or
But the roll could only make that not happen. So
okay? So I think that's I kind of cheated a little bit. I'm one pressure short of a breaking point, but I think that's the stick to a plan rigidly even after it's obviously failed breaking point that I wanted to hit anyway. Yeah.
hit it, and you can reduce yourself to pressure. That
Yeah.
oh my goodness. So Lieutenant Commander Jaina Madar, you see the Gazanti class cruiser like pulls in a few ties and zips out. A couple of the other city ships are following ahead. The Star Destroyer, the engines are revving up, and then it takes off. And you leave Scylla behind in the rebel fleet that was here attacking. And Price has moved on. She's getting damage reports. She's assigning people for fire suppression teams. She's double checking which members of the fleet were able to join her and what was lost. And it's just an Imperial military retreat, one among many, a string of failures. But you see that fishbowl droid thing. It seems to be paying attention to you. And it floats over. The face, slowly, the hollow of Emperor Palpatine appears. Oh, you're talking to me, Jack.
What's the appropriate way to greet the Emperor?
If you recognize this as the Emperor, Price is only referred to it as the messenger.
Mm-hmm. But I can see the Emperor's face.
Absolutely. This is Sheath Palpatine's face. That's his visage.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander Madar.
Emperor. I think I probably like get down on a knee or something, right? Like, I don't know what. I got to make this look good.
You are fortunate that I have many plans. Those samples, only one of several attempts to bring me back. Your pitiful failure will not stop the plans I have put in place to return the Empire. What you have done is only a delay.
I think I want to, if I can do this, I want to stand up and grab this thing and bring it down and smash it into the ground.
Yeah, that seems like an interesting outburst.
I mean, really, this is I'm angling for my breaking point that I want to hit that I'm not going to hit. Which commit a visible and devastating attack against the fleet, blowing something up or assassinating someone.
Sweet. Yeah, that seems like a thing you want to do, except this thing is not without its own defenses. You move up and this thing is faster than you anticipated.
Mm,
It grabs you by the throat
shit.
and it throws you, and you like fly across. Remember the two like banks at
Mhm.
the top right? I totally should change my background. But you fly across like over a set of computer banks and slam into one of the walls. Please withstand serious harm.
Yeah, that
First,
makes sense.
you must first, you're going to mark pressure pretty much regardless.
Okay.
Roll plus hard.
That's a 2.
Wow. On a 6+, you feel the full force of it. You're out of control, lost, trapped, or helpless. And the GM may start a doom clock. I'm going to go ahead and just grant your wish and have you mark 2 pressure.
All right.
And yeah, I think what happens is you break your back. And your legs no longer respond.
Mhm.
They're interesting. They tingle. That's it. And this
Mm.
thing floats over. And it stands over you. What do you do?
Well, now that I get to hit this breaking point,
Mhm.
my arms still work. I'm probably in excruciating pain. I pull my blaster and I aim it at Price and just, I know blasters don't have clips, but basically empty the clip just over and over and over again into Price.
Nice. And you hit her a couple times before the guards on deck, I think they unload on you.
Oh yeah, of course.
As the messenger cackles. Everything ends as I have planned it. And does anyone have an epilogue they want to do as the Star Destroyer is in hyperspace and leaving Scylla behind, heading towards Exegol?
I think I have a stinger.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's interesting. I like
So
stingers.
I think as the credits roll, right, I think we then see this red-shaped, droid with the face of Palpatine, kind of exit the bridge
Mhm.
through like a door, and there's one clone tank that's left that has like a little floating looking Snoke in it. That is like a private thing that they had taken off. Is that okay? I don't mean to undo anyone's work.
I love it.
Okay.
I think also has something to do with cloning. I don't know. It doesn't feel right though, because Jaina really did blow the crap out of the clone tanks. I want that glory to survive somehow.
So we've
It
already seen.
Well, it could
ahead.
be a thing where like we come out and Vandar II carried her out of there. It's still,
We've already
doesn't.
seen. We saw. I think Tagashia, was it you who flushed the clone tank? At some point, you hit a
Yes.
button and it flushed the
Yeah.
old one. We could see that basically. This could be another stinger as the lights for the bombs are going off, and we see the explosions. We see the little light come on, and that tank gets flushed to another level. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we pick up, and there's like this. It's a rebel freighter, and it's obviously like it in stealth mode, and we're still flying above Scylla, and Tagashia is like harnessed up in a spacesuit, and she's dropped out the back in this tether, and she grabs this tank and brings it back on board, and then the view is from the tank as the fluid drains, and it's just Tagashia and Sorn and the Twi'lek that had appeared in Madar's like flash vision is standing there, and the Twi'lek has like these tools out, and she's like fiddling with them, and it's just the case opens up, and it's like, Glory, we have a job for you.
Nice. Cool. Any tag scenes, epilogues left? We good?
I mean, I had an idea, but I feel like it doesn't work well after those two, the 1-2 punches.
You should do it, and we'll figure out how to fit it in.
Yeah. I think what it is, I think the rebels, having a funeral / kind of I don't know, recognition ceremony for Jaina and Mina, and I think that just because dramatic irony is great, like it, like it mirrors in a lot of ways, like the way that the reward ceremony was filmed, in the previous episode. And there's no big surprise here, no stinger really, but yeah, just kind of this like moment of, these two are gone, and they succeeded at their mission.
I think Tagashia would attend, and Sorn passes her something very genteelly right before they, I imagine it's a funeral, but there's no body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so before they like ceremonially inter the memory of Jaina, he hands her this, and it's Jaina's Imperial fist. It's your medal, and it's got like a blaster scar, and it's broken, and the ribbon's tattered, and she just very carefully places it on the coffin before it's fully interred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that we get Greg's scene, and then the funeral, and then the very last thing is that reveal.
Nice. Oh, that was good. That was good. We got all of it. We had all this stuff. We had more action. We had the Rev and Tagashia, and whether they were apart or together, we like focused on that. Jaina got to murder somebody. Oh man, several bodies, lots of bodies. Killed Admiral Price. Whew. Okay. Well, there is no post-game stuff, so we'll do our normal bits of stars, but no wishes. I will caveat one wish is I wish Sawyer had been able to join us. Would have loved to have seen what Marwyn did amidst all this chaos. Other than that, let's quickly do a round of stars. Do you guys cool with this recorded, or do you want to do stars off? Or all right.
Can I real quick suggest something? I mean, ultimately, I know, like, since Ferret's not here, it's, but I wonder if that tag scene that Steven brought in, if Marwyn was in the room.
Ooh, that's cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Very unexpected. That's a neat little. People will argue about that on forums for
Especially because the show's not going to get picked up for a second season, unfortunately.
God, no, it's totally Stove League. That is a K-drama. Sorry. Okay, it's about baseball. It's really good. Anyway,
people are all pissed off that everybody turned out to be a rebel spy after we invested all this in the Imperials, and they're like, there's this controversy of people who hate the show and people who love the show, and they're like, oh, I like seeing the different views. Oh, but it was just rebels in the inn. Yeah.
Yes. Totally that. Sweet. Let's do a round of stars, and then we can call it. Would like to go first with stars.
I'll go first. I felt like everybody in the game played their characters like rental cars, right? They're like, we're gonna drive these things, and who cares if we get a few bumps and scrapes? We're gonna drive them over the cliff, and that was really fun to see. I really enjoyed seeing Jaina or Katarina being taken out. I love that reveal scene with the reprogramming, right, and the real name. I loved, to be honest, I really appreciate, Greg, you saying this is it, right? I'm giving up. I'm either an NPC or I'm dead. Let's do this thing. And I'm like, that's great. That's very freeing. I also have to give a star to the system, which is whenever I first started hitting breaking points, I struggled a little bit with like what makes sense here.
Mhm.
But as I look back through the series, like the breaking point where I publicly, lashed out was very pivotal and was a very good story-wise. And I
Mhm.
noticed in this last session especially, we were all looking for what breaking point are we going to hit to drive the story forward. That seems like a really good storytelling thing to keep in your pocket, like, oh, this is something I want to happen and I want to go forward with. And Rich, some of the twists that you had, especially with like Katarina's ex-lover being the one who got away and being the one who helped her as a rebel spy and all of that, that was beautiful.
Thank
So
you. Yay.
I was very pleased with how all of this worked out. It was great.
I'm so happy you're into that.
Okay.
I
I
just want
think-
to dovetail
yeah.
on the thing that Steven said, because I'll forget it otherwise, because you guys know me. That's exactly what I do. I say I'll talk about it later and then I forget it. I loved watching the pivot, and maybe all of this exists in my head, but the pivot from, my God, like you have to mark pressure all the time, and then you hit this breaking point. The breaking point is like terrible and bad to, I need more pressure because I totally see this breaking point being perfect here. And it was absolutely the play to lose and the like last session, but that was such a delightful spin from my first foray into Last Fleet and going, yeah, I don't know. And like I got a warning from a person who ran for Last Fleet, like they have to work pressure all the time. They're going to be doing breaking points, and it's like really weird and odd. And I'm like, no, this is good. And you're right, Stephen. It drove a bunch of uncomfortable revelations and surprises. That was really cool. So just wanted to throw that in. Greg, what did you have?
I had just such an incredible time with this game. Such a great group of players, and a wonderful GM, of course, Rich. But it's just the story that we got out of the system is just this is like my. I had so much trouble with the new canon of Star Wars, but now I don't feel so bad about the transition from Return of the Jedi to the beginning of the next one, because like there was this last fleet. And I loved that we had that moment together, Stephen. I loved I loved, we've played together so many times that I feel comfortable being like, you can kill my PC if Rev is really committed to the Empire at this moment. And then you blew up the back half of our ship anyways. That was just wonderful. And Jex, it was such a pleasure playing with you. I look forward to so many more games with you in the future, because Jaina was so calculating and cold and barely on top of her shit. It was like it was this wonderful balance that the obviously how you wanted to play this playbook out, and then the constant having to keep up with these plans that Rich was providing. It was just so wonderful. I love Sawyer's not here, but the introduction very early on at the beginning of this game of the cloning vats became this like very central thing. It tied in two ends of the Star Wars spectrum for me, and to see them all just explode, except for one, at the end was just so cool. Yeah, stars all around. What an amazing game. And what an amazing system. That's just so much cool tech.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really, really good system. I'm glad that it exceeded my expectations. And I think a lot of that was carried by you guys, but that was really happy to see. Oh yeah, this is driving play in really interesting ways.
I'm not sure how well it would work for, like, if we were all rebels, I'd be a little bit concerned. I think that it was a master stroke to say, oh, we're going to be Imperials and let all of this stuff happen. And we all leaned into it, and that worked great. And so I'd want to see it, with our typical heroes and see how that worked. But I can definitely see the Battlestar Galactica pieces and how well they fit with this
Mhm.
game.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Is like BSG is like so much more morally gray than Star Wars ever is. So I think that this is really the only, I mean, I would love to be proven wrong, right? But I think that this way like makes so much more sense, because I think that, you know, it can give just enough room for kind of the, you know, there to be Imperial characters that maybe people would actually root for a little bit, but also they're still Imperials. So yeah, I don't know. I love this system. I really, I don't know. I also have this weird idea that I've talked about on Twitter a little bit, that I want to hack this game to make a wet hot American summer game. I don't know why, it just makes sense in my head.
That's great. Do it, please. I will play.
I probably won't ever actually get around to it, but yeah, I had a little bit of a back and forth with Josh about it too, but yeah, I just love this system so much, and I think it's really fun playing in games that like kind of give you permission to do. And I really like the type of like kind of social PvP that can happen in good PBTA games that are like geared towards it. It's not something that I was ever comfortable with as a player for a very long time, and like now I kind of love it. And so that's great. Star Oh, I also wanted to say, yeah, the cloning stuff, kind of jumping off of what Greg was saying. I hated Rise of Skywalker, but this like kind of made the cloning stuff work for me. So that's cool.
Dave Filoni did, yay!
Yeah. And I loved Palpatine's sort of like, you know, plans upon plans thing, because that's really, I mean, that's it. He's not actually a mastermind. He just has lots of plans and lots of contingencies. And I think that Jaina was channeling that actually a little bit, of like making shit up as she went, just being good at being an opportunist and using stuff to her advantage. And that was really fun. I don't know. There were so many great character moments. I loved the leaning into the breaking points. I loved bringing back Mina. Yeah, I don't know. I had so much fun, and Rich, thank you for inviting me to be part of this. And I definitely hope that I can, you know, be in a Star Wars Saturday game again sometime. So thank you.
It's so funny that yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
I was going to say, I have to say, Jax, one of the characters moments that I think back on that surprised me all the time was Jaina. Like, you know, whenever you reacted with revulsion to Mina, or whenever there was something else that happened. Oh, whenever you walked in and told the commander that Obek was the traitor, not you, I was like, what? Oh my gosh, because I expected you to go in and just shoot him, right? And there were so many surprises. It was so good. Yeah,
you were a superstar, Jax. It's so funny. We played Mothlight together. I really had never played with you before, and I can't even remember how we ended up in a conversation of like, I think maybe I said like, "Hey, you ever played in Star Wars?" I never get in. I'm like, okay, I'll save a spot for you because I want to see you in like a different game set, and I want to play with you some more. And I remember saying, Dix, I'm sorry, but it's like a 2-month thing, and it's kind of not my normal deal because it's like last fleet and you play Imperials. Are you cool with that? It's like, yeah. And I said, so I want to pitch this, right? Can I like share the pitch with you a few times, Jax? Because you're already in. Like, I kept pulling them into like, I'm recruiting you to help me make this good, and you definitely did. You were a superstar. Such a great group. I really enjoyed this series with you guys. Thank you so much for playing it and giving it a shot with like full-throated. Like, let's explore this over 2 months. It's going to be hard to going back to just running a game for 1 month on Star Wars Saturdays next year, because this was neat, really seeing this longer arcs of plots and stuff. Good stuff. Really enjoyed it. Cool. Thank you all so much for playing. It's been a joy and has made my Saturday for months on end, literally. So I'll stop the recording here